Hi, I'm Tom, and in this video I will show you how to create or edit Information Delivery Specification in IDSedit tool. IDSedit is a free open source web application and you can access it easily on the IDSedit.com address. The link will be in the description box below. And this application offers Noodles-based graphical interface for creating IDS files. This means that the IDS is structured graphically in nodes like these, which are connected by these noodles or lines. And you can edit, I can delete this connection, or I can also recreate it again. So this is quite interesting approach. So let's see what the application offers. When you open the application for the first time, you have this simple rule, but I will delete it and start from scratch. So I will hold Shift and click and drag to select all of these nodes and hit delete to delete them. So now I have got empty IDS. And let's say I want to create a specification or a check of walls, which are solid walls, and I want to have a property load bearing to be set to true. So how would I achieve that? First, I will create a specification, and this is basically the end node. And if I click the specification here, if I click the node here, I've got the information. So I will name it wall solid check. Here I specify in which version I will be checking it, and here I can write a description, but this is good for me. And now for the applicability, I want to input all the wall entities. So I will create another node. I will click here entity, and I will click and drag it here. And by default, it's set to IFC wall. If I click this drop down, I could choose any other entity, or I could also use the search. So if I type door, I could search for door, but I want the wall, so IFC wall. And here I can select the predefined type, and I want the predefined type to be the solid wall. So I will be checking for all of the walls with the predefined type solid walls. And I want to check it, I want to connect those walls into this check. So I will drag the noodle here like so. So this is the applicability, and the requirements is what I'm checking for. And I will be checking for a property. So I will insert a property node. I will click here, and it's set to property set wall common. So again, I could search, but this is fine for me. The base name, I actually am looking for load bearing. So I will select load bearing, and the data type is filled in automatically. This is nice. So yep, it's set correctly to IFC Boolean. And now I want to set this to either true or false. So I will type in the value. I want it to be true, and I will connect this to my requirement. So now this is one specification for wall solid check. Now, if this was my final IDS, all I wanted to do was check for these walls. I could export the IDS by clicking the export, and I can export the IDS. So I will select this one, and I can either add the metadata during the export, or I do not have to fill them in, but I will name wall check will be the name, and yeah, I will not fill these other ones. I will actually fix the spelling, and I will export with these metadata, and it's exported here. So I will click OK, and it's exported into my default downloads folder. So this is the specification, and if I open it, you can see that it's standard XML formatted IDS specification. This one is quite simple. It's checking for the load bearing load bearing property. And here you can see the metadata, the wall solid check. So basically you are downloading the IDS file. Now what's nice is that you can input several noodles into one of these. So if I wanted to check, let's say, for another property, and that would be external, and again I would want to have this true, and I want to check that all of the solid walls are external, I can create another check and it will check these solid walls at once. Now I can zoom in and out by rotating my mouse wheel or using these tools here, or I can use the fit view, this button. And then there's this tool, which is a minimap, which shows me the where in the larger space, if I have a larger IDS, what am I looking at. Now this lock makes the IDS locked, so if I click it, I cannot click those nodes, so I cannot change them. So this is for viewing only if it's locked. So now I want to have it unlocked. Now let's create another specification for door type names. So I will create a specification by clicking here. It's created here, and I will name it door type name, door types check, and I will add the entity. I will check for all door types, so I will filter here door type. And this will be applicability and requirements. Here I will use the attribute, and I will choose the name. And here, if I have this node, I could type in just one value. But if I want to check for patterns or enumerations of values, I will actually use this restriction node, which is quite useful. If I click it here, restriction, and I want to place it in between the name and the requirement, so I will delete this noodle, and I will drag this noodle here, and the value, this value I will delete, so it's empty, and I will copy it here, so it's connected like here. And in the enumeration node, basically restriction node, I've got options of selecting enumeration, pattern, bounds, or length. Bounds is minimum maximum value, length is minimum maximum length. Enumeration, I could add values, so I could add D01, and then I could add D02, D03, so I could manually select several values, and I can have them displayed like this, or listed like this. What's nice, what I actually didn't test, is you can import those values. So you have the option of bulk importing, pasting, or uploading a file. But what I can also do is, instead of enumeration, use the pattern. So here I would actually use the pattern like so. So I want to have 2 digits and then end. So I could use pattern for my requirement. So this is how you use the restriction node. Now what's nice, you can actually duplicate this as a profile with this tool, clone as profile, which creates a new specification, and all of the nodes are imported here. So if I wanted to check, let's say here, the same options, but not on the wall but on a slab, I will delete this one and add the entity, and the entity would be IFC slab, and I can reuse those nodes like so, place them into different requirements or different applicabilities. I could also use this one to different specification. So let me also show you, if I want to save this file as a work in progress, including all of the locations of the specification, I can actually move these nodes like so. So let's say I like these positions, and I can export it as the whole canvas, the JSON file. And now again it's exported. And now let's say if I would delete all of these, so I've got empty canvas and I would want to load the one that I already created, I would choose import canvas, and it was saved in my downloads directory, and it's this canvas. I can select it and it was imported like so. Now you can also import an IDS file this way. So if I choose import and I select the IDS file, I will go to my home folder, and here I've got this example. I will select it and it's loaded, and the structure, I don't know how it's created, but it looks quite nice. And here you can also see this is a little bit bigger file, so now it's maybe nice to have this minimap visible here so you can orientate yourself. Now what's really nice about IDSedit is that it checks for the consistency of your IDS, and it informs you about some of the errors that you might create. So let's say if I have this file rating property and I set the wrong data type, so instead of IFC label I would choose IFC boolean. If I click away, I can immediately see a red IDS sign here, and it's telling me that I have a problem here. So this is really nice that it's checking for consistency of the data. So I will place the label here again, and now if I check the IDS again, it's all green. So this is nice. Now let me also talk about the specification versions, the schema versions. So if I click on a specification, I have this IFC schema version that it's checking against, and I select it individually in each specification. And as far as I know, it's not possible to set several schema versions in one specification. You would have to create the clone as profile and set it to different versions. So if I created this clone as profile, it was created here, doors, and I would change this to IFC 4.3. And here we've got actually setting, and this setting sets what options are available in my nodes. So if I set it to IFC 4 x3, these nodes here are still set as previously. But if I, let's say, created an entity and I wanted to have a bridge here, I would not have bridge option, IFC bridge, because this is not present in IFC 2 x3. So if I wanted to have the bridge there, I would select IFC 4.3. And now if I search for bridge, I have the bridge here, the bridge entity. So this is different than what the individual node settings are. And now if you have a larger IDS, you can also use this arrange tool, but it auto arranges the nodes, but from my testing it did not do very well, so your mileage may vary. What's important to say that even though IDSedit is web application, it runs locally on your machine, so no user data exits the machine. So data privacy is guaranteed, and it's an AGPL licensed open source software, so you can check it out on GitHub by clicking here, and it opens the GitHub page with the projects, and you can actually report issues here if you encounter some. I'm recording this video in February 2026, so maybe if you are watching this video, the IDSedit already has some enhancements or bugs fixed. So This is a really interesting take on IDS creation. I have not tested it on larger dataset, so I'm not sure how feasible it is to work with larger IDS using this interface. But the tool is definitely interesting and can give you some nice overview of IDS creation and IDS structure. The tool is created by Trumpler, and this is his company, LT Plus, so you can access it easily from the IDSedit. And you can support the development of this tool by clicking this Ko-fi icon, and it leads you to Luis's Buy Me a Coffee, and you can support him through this service. I hope the overview of IDSedit was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.